differences between goods and services. We learned that number one, goods are tangible. Goods are tangible, whereas services are intangible. Services are intangible. Goods are tangible. You can touch goods like a pen. This pen is tangible. This board is tangible. You can touch it. You can feel it. You can see it. Services, on the other hand, are not tangible. They are intangible. You cannot see services. You cannot touch services. You cannot feel services. For example, teaching services, hairdressing services, banking services, insurance services. All such services are intangible. That's the first distinguishing feature. The second distinguishing feature is that goods are, we can say, goods can be stored. Goods can be stored. Can be stored. Goods like maize, like television, like guitar, like this table here, like this coat, like my tie. You can store them. They can be stored. Whereas services cannot be stored. Services cannot be stored. You cannot store services like teaching, like security. You cannot store such services. When they are expended, when they are consumed, then that's it. You cannot store them. We also learned that services, goods can be standardized. Goods can be standardized. You can have many goods of the same quality. I use the example of this pen. It's possible to produce similar pens. You can have 1,000 of this pen, same quality, made of same material, and so on. So goods can be standardized. The quality of goods can be standardized, but the quality of services cannot be standardized. 3, cannot be standardized. Cannot be standardized. Services cannot be standardized. The quality of services cannot be standardized. That is the third distinguishing feature. Then number four, goods. Learners, goods can change possession. Goods can do what? Can change possession. That means that you can separate goods from the producers. Goods can change possession. At the moment, this is my pen. I can choose to give it to you so that it becomes your pen after you pay a small fee. Okay? Or I can decide to give it to you as a gift. We can change possession. But services on the other hand, learners, services cannot be separated from the provider. Services cannot be separated from the provider. Cannot be separated from the provider. For the teacher to provide the service, that teacher must be present. For an entertainer to provide entertainment service, that entertainer must be present. If I have a bodyguard offering me some security services, that bodyguard must be present because services are personalized. Learners, services are personalized. You cannot separate the service from the service provider. But goods, on the other hand, can change possession. Goods can change possession because they are separable from the producer. They are separable because we can say they are separable from the producer. They are separable from the producer, but services cannot be separated from the provider. We call them service providers. Service providers. That is the fourth distinguishing feature. We are discussing the differences between goods and services. Number 5. What do you think, learners? Number 5, based on the lesson we had last time, we discussed separately the qualities, the attributes, characteristics of goods and services. Learners, we learned that not all goods are perishable. There are some goods that are perishable, others are not perishable. So we can say not all goods are perishable. Not all, all goods are perishable, but all services are highly perishable. Services we can say services are highly perishable. Services are highly perishable, but not all goods are perishable. We have some goods that are perishable, others are not perishable, but services are highly perishable. They perish, they perish, they perish. And the reason why they perish, learners, is because they cannot be stored. And the reason why goods are not perishable is because you can store them in a warehouse, in a store. You can store sugar for 1 year, for 2 years. You can store milk for 2 days, for 3 days, for 1 week. But you cannot store services. If the teacher comes to teach today, then that teacher has to come back again to teach again. He cannot just teach once. No, the teacher has to come on daily basis because the teaching service, being a service, is highly perishable. Number 6, learners, most goods can be seen. Most goods can do what? Can be seen, because goods are material. Goods are tangible. You can see goods. This is a pen. It's a good. You can see it. This is a tie. It is tangible. It is material. You can see it. Learners, but services cannot be seen. Services cannot be seen. Services cannot be seen. But we learned in the last lesson that we can see the effects of services. Effects of services can be seen. We saw that if you are entertained, we can know the effect of entertainment by the effect known as happiness. Known as happiness. So most goods can be seen, but services cannot be seen. Services cannot be seen. Okay?